Greetings, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us. It is I, Tyler Ellison, and I am here with my amazing friend, Starshine of the Sasani universe. And myself and Starshine are incredibly excited because this is a Sasanian celebratory time period. Right now, Starshine is in Sedona, and so many folks are gathering there as we speak for the Bashar Daryl Anka channeling event that's going to be taking place tomorrow in Sedona, Arizona. So, as many of you know, Bashar and RYOKAH are from the same civilization, the Sasanian civilization, and Daryl Anka and Bashar have been a huge influence on my own channeling journey. Without them, I don't know if I'd even know what channeling is. So I give so much credit and appreciation and love to Daryl and Bashar. And I'm so pumped that we get to do this live stream today that many of you are going to be tuning into. And then tomorrow, many of you who tuned in today are going to be at the Bashar event, which I just think is incredibly exciting. And what a cool way to connect these worlds. I will be not at this Bashar event, but I'm going to be at the upcoming one at the channel panel. I had the pleasure of channeling at the channel panel done by Rob Gauthier last December, January. And me and Daryl both channeled at that event, which was incredibly exciting. So I will be returning to the channel panel in November to hang out. I won't be presenting at the November one, but I'll likely get to see him there. And then the one in April, that is the one that I'm set to present at. So it's a very exciting time. There's a lot happening, and I thank all of you guys for making this possible. These events take a lot of work to put together, and I've organized a few of my own events with the help of some amazing people, and there's a lot of faith that goes into these events. There's a lot of uncertainty in terms of how things may unfold, and I find organizing these events takes a lot of work, a lot of faith, a lot of trust, and the audience members, the people that come out and support the events, you guys make this possible. So I thank you for supporting Daryl's work and Bashar's work. I thank you for supporting my channeling and the RYOKAH transmissions. And we're going to have a great time today. In today's live stream, everyone that's here has the opportunity to present a question to RYOKAH. You can type those questions into the chat. Once I go into the channeling state, Starshine is going to go through the submitted questions and select the ones that are the most exciting, the most resonant, the most revealing in nature, and she'll bring those questions to RYOKAH. And live on this transmission and stream, we will address those questions that you guys have. You can also share your interests, your curiosities as well in that chat, and RYOKAH can reflect upon these. Before we get into the Q&A, RYOKAH will talk about the energy of our current times. So all of those whom are more energetically oriented can more easily tune in to those background energies and frequencies and can then make them more obvious and more greatly manifested in their experience. So we'll talk about what the energy currents and qualities are. We'll take your questions, and we're going to have an amazing time today. We thank you for joining us on a Friday. What a powerful way to get this weekend celebration kick-started. And speaking of celebrations, Starshine, it's great to see you. How are you feeling? How is your path of excitement manifesting?
Hey Tyler, hey guys. Yes, I'm currently in Sedona, so getting ready for the Bashar event. It's going to be super exciting, of course, to see everyone and Daryl as well. But yeah, I'm also equally excited for this live stream and seeing all of you and your beautiful questions. So yeah, can't wait to start.
Absolutely. It's going to be a powerful, powerful time. And I appreciate you guys bringing such amazing questions. When I do these events each week with everybody online, I don't know what people are going to be asking. I have no awareness of what these topics are ahead of time. So I always am learning alongside of everybody else here. When I'm in the trance, I usually don't remember too much of what happens. If there's certain questions that are really interesting to me, I might remember those moments, but usually coming out of the channeling state, it is like coming out of sleep or coming out of a dream. So I'll usually replay the live streams when I have some time, and I'm able to then receive a lot of the same teachings that everybody else did. And I got to say, everyone that comes to these, you ask very powerful, very authentic, and penetrating questions. And it is that type of curiosity and focus and query that gradually dismantles the veil that creates various realms of illusion. So we're slowly dismantling distortions. We're slowly dismantling illusions through this sharing of information and through the clarifications, the revelations, the realizations. We're left with reality. That's what we're actually coming face to face with through the questions and answers that we create together. So I appreciate you guys making this possible. I think as a person who loves multidimensional truth and seeking truth, the great mystery, this is probably the most exciting thing I could be doing with my time. Besides like reading books on ancient mystery and spirituality, besides meditating and going into a trance, in my own meditation room, this is the next best thing. This is what reveals more of that which is occult. So thank you for helping this realization, revelation, and information to be present. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close my eyes and go into the trance. I will see everybody here on the other side of the communication. Have a beautiful time. Well, I would thank each and every single one of you for your attendance in this co-creative transmission that we share with you all this here, this now. This is a very accelerated time, as many of you are detecting within your collective temporal experience. Things are really speeding up. And this is because you are approaching on your timeline a multi-dimensional event. When upcoming multi-dimensional events become proximal to your frequency of space and time, the experience of the passage of time can sometimes shift, and that shifting in the temporal experience can translate as time either standing still, time speeding up. Weeks can feel like a few days. A month might feel like a weekend. These types of effects, these are all signs that you, in your space-time bubble of perception, are approaching a multi-dimensional event. As you know, there is the extraterrestrial vehicle and object described as 3I Atlas that is approaching your solar system, your planet. And this extraterrestrial object carries with it multi-dimensional frequencies, multi-dimensional beings, multidimensional information relevant to a myriad of extraterrestrial civilizations that are all sharing the same collective consciousness. Contact with this will cause many of the usual experiences within your physical reality paradigm to begin to change, to begin to shift. In other words, your Earth experience will start to become a little bit more like an extraterrestrial experience. Your physical experience will start to become a little bit more like a non-physical experience. Your waking, solid reality will start to become like a quasi-physical dreaming reality. So, pay attention to the subtle changes in perception that are occurring for you this month and start to develop a level of comfort, a level of familiarity, and a level of enjoyment in regards to these changes and these shifts. And you will find that you can actually lean into some of these altered states. You can lean into some of these perceptive shifts and changes, and you can sort of exaggerate them. You can multiply them. You can amplify them. And you will begin to notice very directly, very apparently, very clearly that your physical reality is in fact made of energy, and that you can shift that energy and how it expresses, how it vibrates, how it organizes. That is what extraterrestrial beings are here to help you all remember, that you are energy artists living in a world of energy that is alive, that is vibrating, and is disguised as an inert physical world of density. That's just the disguise. As you wake up to that underlying vibratory nature, simultaneously, your consciousness, awareness, and intelligence all increase. It is that increase in intelligence, consciousness, and awareness that you describe as maturity. It is that maturity that allows for you to wield that power. That is the power of true co-creatorship and reality authorship. Because if you can shift the building blocks of reality, you can create harmony and health, or you can create destruction, harm. It's all about how that power is used. So the fact you have to wake up to that power, you have to mature yourself in order to access it, means that by the time you have reached that level, you can now wield that power well, respectfully, and in a way that creates preferred results again and again and again. So if you are an energy artist, this implies that you have an artist's tool. Some artists, they use a paintbrush. Others, they use a pencil. Some, they use a computer or a musical instrument. But what is the instrument of the human artist, the energy artist? The body, mind, spirit. This is your instrument. This is your creative device. With body, mind, and spirit, you can create living works of art that are entire timelines that you and other beings can involve themselves with. When you go into your manifestation meditations and you picture something you'd like to bring into your reality, maybe it is a lover, maybe it is a car, maybe it is a new job, maybe it is an all expenses paid vacation, whatever the heck it is. When you sit there in your meditation room and you visualize such things, you empathize with such visions, and you become one with that which you dream. When you are doing this, you are using that human instrument to actively create something. It is like a multidimensional living sculpture. It begins in your mind as a holographic multidimensional image that your imagination and mind together co-create and generate. And when that image receives enough energy, it begins to broadcast from your mind's eye outwardly, from the center channel of your being into the periphery of your aura. And when that vision starts to resonate with the aura will then take on the likeness of that vision. The aura then interfaces with the vibratory fields of that which is a part of your physical reality. And there is a hybridization that takes place through your aura and the vibratory nature of the external reality coming together. A new reality is brought into the existence. So the inner movie creates a change in the aura. The auric interaction with the mirror of physical reality creates the densification effect of the manifestation. And in that way, the living image becomes an entire timeline that you and other beings can interface with. Because to manifest a car, well, there's a car dealership involved, or at least a vendor whom sells you the car, or someone whom gives you the car. So that living picture becomes a reality with other people who can experience that artistic creation with you. The same could be said with the lover. It involves another person. That other person has a family. They have friends. Through creating that vision, an entire world is generated that many people can become a part of in different ways. So through you creating with your mind, with your human instrument, you are working with subtle energies to create living sculptures of experience. And you call it life. You call it the happenings of your timeline. But you are all artists. It's important that you remember this. It's important that you recall in all moments that every action is a creative action, and everything that seems automatic, an unconscious dimension of you is actually giving rise to it. Dimension of you you're not aware of is actively creating that thing that seems automatic in your life. The sun rising and setting, your heart beating, pumping blood, your nervous system, pulsing electricity, all these things that seem automatic. These are created manifestations. They are created by different levels of your consciousness. So you have levels of your consciousness you're conscious of, you're in control of, and other levels of your consciousness that you have less control over. Those are still your levels. Those levels are a part of you. It's just that you don't have conscious control over those levels, thus giving your conscious mind the freedom and the ability to focus on other things. If you were responsible personally for the sun rising and setting every day and your heart beating continuously, you'd be rather preoccupied. So, different levels of you are used to organize such things. So conscious, you can focus on what it desires, but you are the one causing the sun to rise and set. You are the one causing the heart to beat. You are the spirit of nature and life itself, which flows through all creations. This power that is the Virgo power, this is the spirit of nature, the spirit of life. It represents the unified signature frequency of all things. Imagine a reality where all forms of life are fully synchronized with the unique signature frequency that makes up who they are as created beings. That entire reality would glow. It would be like looking at the night sky, every being illuminated, radiating the signature frequency photons of who and what they really are, shining like a star, spiraling together in one big collective dance. This is what such a reality not only looks like, but feels like. If you can put yourself into such a visualization, you can begin to replicate the effects of that visualization in your physical reality. Remember, all things have a signature frequency, you included. Can you feel your signature frequency? Can you detect where in your body the signature frequency's broadcast is the strongest? If you can learn to detect your own signature frequency, and you know what that feels like, and you know what it's like to stay in resonance with that signature frequency, what this means is you will be able to sense and detect the signature frequency in others, and you will be able to help them naturally align with that energy once more. Just through maintaining that awareness that everyone around you possesses a signature frequency and that they can choose to align with it or not, just that awareness alone can give you the power to help guide people just with your mind and your attention back into resonance and alignment with the signature frequency. That much power you possess. So it's a matter of looking at your earth multidimensionally. When you see your world, don't see it from the perspective of autopilot. Don't use the outdated meanings. Let all your perceptions be conscious. Remember, when you're listening to someone, you get to choose how you listen. When you're breathing in the air, you get to choose how you breathe. When you're tasting your food, you get to choose how you consume, how you taste. When you are looking at the world, you get to choose. Do you look with eyes of judgment or eyes of reflective love? This is always within your power. This month, that Virgo energy is abundant. You can align with that natural power, with that natural viewpoint, with those natural rhythms very easily. It's just a matter of noticing those energy states and leaning into that energy, leaning into those qualities. Something good in your life happens. Wow, what would it feel like if I turned the volume up on that goodness? Bringing it from an 8 to a 9. Wow, that's really nice. What if I took that feeling that I just increased and breathed it into my lungs and into my belly and charged myself with it? Wow, that's very incredible. What if I took some of this energy, put it in my hand, and then touched my friend on the shoulder and transferred some of it to them? Wow, what a difference that makes. You will find that your real currency is energy. And when you know how to spend it, and when you know how to invest it, you will receive such a powerful ROI, return on your investment, that it will be as if the new earth was summoned forth yesterday. That's how powerful the effects will be. We share this with you so you can take advantage of this energy and act upon it. Remember, if you live the life of the you from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you will get that kind of existence. You must live a new life to experience a new you who lives on a new version of Earth. That new life can be made of the best of the best of the best of all of the many lifetimes you have lived within this one and beyond. And it can involve new ways of doing things that are relevant to the culture and lifestyle of future you, whom is still here with you eternally whenever you're in the present moment, fully. You are holding the hand of your future self, and you are also holding the hand of your past self. When you're rooted in the present, future self guides you, and you, present self, guide past self. That happens naturally as a side effect of the structure of the here and now, which is triangular in nature. It's like a tetrahedron. So be present, and your timeline will align with the golden spiral that is the movement, the pattern, the perfection of life itself. We make ourselves now available to you all for your sharings. You may begin at your leisure.
Thank you, friend. It's good to see you once again, as always. How are you?
Delighted to exist. It is so wonderful to commune and to celebrate with you and with all of these wonderful human friends and family members. And we remind all of you who are tuning into this stream, many of you have extraterrestrial counterparts, extraterrestrial spirit guides. So through you being here, you are actually bringing a cosmic audience with you, even if it just looks like it's little old you on your device watching this. There's many beings that are able to observe through you and through your Earth experience. So we thank you for making that bridge, that network possible.
Yes, I had a feeling about that. Okay, great. So our first question for you is there a race of Scorpio-like extraterrestrials you could talk about?
There is a very ancient race of scorpionic humanoid beings. They are a hybrid species, and they were engineered as a workforce and as a military force. And they were also used to produce different chemicals, different drugs. Just as scientists create drugs and medicines in a laboratory, for some beings, their body is the laboratory. So certain compounds, certain drugs could actually be produced from the bodies of these hybrid beings that could produce very powerful effects, ranging from altered psychedelic states to genetic healing and regeneration. All types of things were possible. So you have your Scorpio constellation in your night sky from the Earth view. It looks like a capital letter J. And within that constellation, there's a very special star known as Antares. The beings of Antares, you describe them as the mantis mothers. These are some of the oldest beings within the universe. And they are responsible for creating many hybrid forms. What you describe as the human form, it didn't begin on Earth, but it took on more of an Earth-like expression when the Anunnaki traveled to Earth and brought their genetics there with them and blended their DNA with some of the DNA of the other hominids present. But human DNA, which you call Anunnaki DNA, existed long before the Anunnaki made their way to Earth. So that DNA, the same DNA used to make the Anunnaki beings, was used to engender a variety of different hybrid species that the mantis beings had a relationship or had their hand in engineering. So the scorpion hybrid beings, these were one of the mantis creations. There are even ancient Sumerian tablets that describe such beings. And like I mentioned, they were used for a variety of different reasons. They were used to produce drugs, different chemicals. They were used for labor. They were also used for combat and for protection, and in some instances, conquest. So remember that the ancient universe, it's sort of like ancient humanity. When you look at humanity's past, you can see that there's a lot of barbaric patterns, combative patterns, animalistic patterns. The ancient universe had its time expressing such themes. This gave many species the opportunity to evolve past such things, and many have as a result of that. Most of these lower themes now are limited to realities like Earth. Earth represents one of the few realities remaining where such themes of, you could say, violence are still present. So these scorpion human beings are present throughout the cosmos. They were present on the Earth for a little bit of time. A few of them still remain within inner Earth.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Great. Up next is, can you speak on the greatest saint we did not know about?
The greatest saint. It is a matter of how you measure greatness. Some say that the greatest saints are martyrs, those who are killed for their faith or their devotion, because it represents the ultimate sacrifice, the greatest sacrifice. And there are many martyrs. There are many whom died for their spirituality all across the human timeline, across the many different traditions, not just in your Judeo-Christian traditions, but there are many Tibetan lamas or Tibetan saints whom have also been killed for their perspectives, their beliefs. There have been many native peoples whom were genocided, and they died defending their connection to spirit and their ancestral and people's connection to spirit. So, whom is the greatest of the saints? That's sort of a funny question because it makes your spirituality sounds like a competition. It's like saying, whom is the greatest yoga practitioner? Well, is it a matter of whom can do the most poses? Is it a matter of whom can do one pose perfectly? Is it a matter of how spiritually immersed the practitioner is during their yoga posturing? What is the barometer for the greatness? You see, whenever you talk about who is the greatest, who is the best, you are talking about comparisons and you are talking about lower levels of perception, lower levels of consciousness. The mask, the ego, is what asks questions like this. At moderate levels of consciousness, there are still comparisons, there's still differentiations. But the idea is that the things, the people that you are comparing, that you are contrasting, they are all seen as valid. They are all seen as essential expressions of the all. At the highest levels, these people, these subjects, they are not just valid expressions, but they are also living stories. They are the living story, the living design, the living blueprint of the source playing itself out. Beyond this, they are all reflections of you. And in these perspectives, these higher level perspectives, where is there room for greater and lesser? So, in terms of the greatest saint that you never heard of, you are the greatest saint that you have never heard of. Within you lives a secret name that is to be discovered. Within you exists all of the elements waiting to be purified and brought into states of higher expression and exaltation. Within you, the fundamental opposites of male and female, yin and yang, waiting to be blended together, opening a source portal that reveals your personal connection to the realm of spirit. You are the greatest saint that you are unaware of.
That's a very good answer. Thank you.
You are very welcome.
Up next, how can we learn sorcery, such as Harry Potter style sorcery?
Well, what you see in Harry Potter is sort of an exaggeration. It doesn't mean it's false, but it's exaggerated. So, what are some things in Harry Potter that are true in your human world as it relates to the art of magic? In Harry Potter, all of their spells are achieved through magic words. In your Kabbalistic magic, the sacred name of a thing is said to be the actual vibratory phone number of that thing. So, if you're going to study magic, be studying words of power. We have said this for some time. This is essential. If you try to manifest using your usual language, if you try to do magic, high-level magic, using your usual language, your usual physical ego will be involved because your usual mind thinks in your native language. It's how you organize your mundane world in your usual language. So when you use the power languages, the magical languages, specifically ancient Sanskrit, Chinese, Hebrew, these three in particular, there's more. When you use these three in particular, you are accessing through the power of the words, the vibrational nature of the thing you're attempting to summon. So when someone says, Ahava Olam, in Hebrew, that means eternal love. If someone's looking to summon the power of eternal love, using Ahava Olam is a powerful way to bring that energy in. Now, when words are spoken, the energy is broadcasted. What's the second thing you see in Harry Potter? They have a magic wand. And what are they doing with the wand? When they're speaking their word, they're drawing a symbol. You don't always see that. You just see them move the wand. But really, what they're doing is they're drawing a geometry in the air. The geometry that they're drawing, let's say it's a five-pointed star. They're drawing a five-pointed star. As they draw the geometry, they are speaking the word of power. And now the word of power and the geometry become one. And it structures the word. So something like Ahava Olam being spoken while a five-pointed star is drawn will cause the five elements to empower that magic word. Now, that geometry that is drawn in the air and is empowered with the word, just like in Harry Potter, it can be projected and launched through emission. You could send that symbol and that word to a person across space, across time. You could take that symbol and that word and push it into a crystal. You could take that symbol, that word, push it into a mirror and let it bounce back and totally envelop you. You could put that symbol, that word, into a glass of water and drink the water. Those are the key things to keep in mind. It is the power of geometry blended with the power of the word. These two things together are the two big takeaways from the Harry Potter universe in terms of what you can achieve with magic. So, these are not the only skills needed in magic. In addition to knowing geometry and words of power, the ability to focus one's consciousness on a single point. This is essential. So meditative focus. If a person's mind is distracting them with certain desires or doubts or intrusive thoughts, they're going to be leaking energy and their magic will have less success. So with a meditative mind, that which is distracting or is irrelevant can be put down. The energies that represent what you want to create, in this example, unconditional eternal love, those energies can be built upon and amplified through that meditative mind. The meditative mind, focusing on the desired energy, then uses the word of power and the geometry to open a portal to the parallel reality where such effects have already fully manifested. So if you are interested in this, work with the channel. He specifically trains people in ceremonial magic, in high magic, in angelic magic. So if you want to develop some of these magical powers, this is available to you. It has been available to your people all along. Now, that availability is being made obvious, so you can draw upon these gifts at any time. But right now, magical power is flowing around you. It's flowing through your body. It's just that most of you are unaware of it. It is like the unseen realm, the formless realm. So, your eyes, your senses, these types of instruments are used to detect form. Your physical senses aren't necessarily meant to detect that which is formless. Your psychic senses are. As you train in the magical arts, your psychic senses become more developed and you begin to sense and feel this energy that's flowing through you and around you. And once you can feel it, you can direct it, you can move it. If you're looking for a place to start, the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. There are many videos on it. This is the first major magical technique to practice.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Up next, can you share a message from Three Eye Atlas to us?
One moment. Dear human, your Earth is opening her eyes as the new sun dawns. Fresh photons containing fresh patterns, codes, blueprints, geometries, are being communicated to your world and are being communicated to your hearts and are being communicated to your minds during these days. Your atmosphere is like a sponge for these photons. Your planet is changing its geometric organization. The geometries of limitation and discordant alignment are being reduced and, in a sense, exchanged for higher multidimensional geometries of organization, life, regeneration, renewal, and evolution. We approach to herald in this new age, this new shift, this new change. Our presence, your observation of us, is to be seen as a synchronistic indicator that you have reached a higher level of consciousness, a higher level of awareness, a higher level of perception. Now that you are becoming skillful in detecting our craft and the craft of those like us, your next level of skillfulness will involve detecting the consciousnesses of our craft's occupant and the occupants of the other craft that are currently interfacing with your world. Remember, you do not have to do everything alone, humanity. I know sometimes you think you do. Many of you are very dedicated to the idea that you are some type of lone wolf and you have to do everything yourself with no support, with no help. This is not true. You are a social creature, a cosmic social creature, a divine embodiment made up of a network of family members of light. You have done nothing alone. All things you have done with others. All things you have created have been co-created. So when you feel the density, the burden, the weight, you do not have to deal with that all yourself. Expand your mind, zoom out. Remember our energies, the energies of the other extraterrestrial beings supporting you, and ask for the assistance. Ask for the interventions. Ask for the grace. We can assist you. We are here to assist you. We have so much love and appreciation for your people. If only you knew how vast your story is, you would see yourselves as we see. And one day you will see how vast your story is. Whilst it seems to the human that their happenings are limited to Earth through the many hybridization programs and what you call covert space programs, humanity has been interstellar for some time, interplanetary for some time. And many of the beings visiting you now are actually ancient factions of your people whom left, now return. So there's much in store for you and for your people. Enjoy this process. You don't have to do it all yourself. Remember, Atlas is described as the being whom carries the weight of the world on their shoulders. We're happy to help shoulder some of your burden, humanity. Remember that things can become as light as a feather when you remember the true nature of the existence. For even density is made of emptiness, and even emptiness is filled with the omnipresent spirit of the source. And now we return. We thank you for receiving that message from the occupants of 3i Atlas.
Thank you so much for that beautiful message.
You're very welcome.
Up next, can you tell us about the video of a missile bouncing off of a UFO off the coast of Yemen that was recently released?
It's genuine and it's designed to get everyone's attention because extraterrestrial contact is not only happening, but it's going to blossom into full-fledged open contact where these craft are going to be over major locations in clear sight, clear view. The occupants of the craft, they're going to begin telepathing with your people, with your world. There's going to be physical in-person interactions. So before anyone gets any colorful Earth ideas, it's important you see what these beings are capable of. You can launch a Hellfire missile at them, and it bounces off. You're being shown the capabilities now so you know what to expect as the contact deepens. That's why it's being shown. So people can feel a little bit more encouraged to be respectful to the visitors. This is why it's being shown.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Up next, what is the deeper significance of the death of Charlie Kirk and Irina Zarutska in the collective consciousness of humanity? Why did these events happen, and what do they reflect or teach us?
Well, they're showing you all types of different things. When there are political assassinations, which is what these are, you're able to really see how people interpret these basic things, such as the worthiness of life. When there's a political assassination, you'll see some people whom grieve, who mourn. You'll see others whom celebrate. These types of events sometimes happen because they reveal people's true colors. So whenever there's a political assassination, it's usually meant to stir things up. It's usually meant to scare people and create divisions. And it can also be used to expose certain people. So these are some of the things the situation reflects. It also is designed as a reflection to remind you that there are certain rights, there are certain privileges, if you will, that many people take for granted. Many of the rights and privileges that are enjoyed, people at one point in time had to fight for. At one point in time, they had to die for it and make the ultimate sacrifice. But most people are removed from that. They forget about that. So when these types of political assassinations happen, sometimes it is a reminder of the risks that are involved in upholding such values and the sacrifices that have been made in establishing such values over time. So these are multi-dimensional events. When these types of things take place, the death of a human being, I remind you that it is a timeline split. There is a reality, of course, where the bullet missed. And this person still lives on. That reality still exists. It's just not the reality most people on your version of Earth are tuned to. So, this type of death was needed to communicate specific messages to the people, to the collective, that only it as a symbol could communicate. Remember, all things that occur within physical reality are symbols. And the beauty of a symbol is its uniqueness. All symbols are like a fingerprint, a unique meaning connected to the unique geometry of that symbol is present. So this type of symbol, that is the assassination, this is a special symbol that creates energies only it can create. Once these types of things are integrated and learned, your species can learn in ways that are lighter, that don't involve such violence, such suppression. So this was meant to get people's attention. Now people are asking what's really behind the scenes. And also, with the Charlie Kirk shooting, there is ambiguity in relationship to who the shooter actually was. Why is that? That's unusual. College campuses usually have abundant security systems. Why is there no comprehensive evidence? So these types of things, they're designed to communicate information. They're designed to get people to ask questions. There's no one reason why it happened. There's quite a few reasons as to why it happened. But one reason was to create fear. It was to create division. It was to create uncertainty. And it has done this. There is also the opposite effect. It has created a lot of unity, and it has now gotten a lot of people asking questions. So these types of tragedies can serve double duty.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Up next, what is a signature frequency? Is it tied to our incarnation or our oversoul?
It's tied to your oversoul. So you have a signature frequency that is a multi-dimensional ensemble of different vibrations that all blend together to create an expression of self that you might call a super self, and the highest level of that you call an oversoul. Beyond the oversoul, you have the monad. The monad really is the root of all oversouls, the soul of all oversouls, if you will. So your signature frequency is a compilation of different vibrations that, when all put together, create the unique song that is the expression of your oversoul. Now, your oversoul resonates with the source of all existence, with that monad, in a very particular, unique way. In other words, the relationship between you and the source is a specific, unique relationship that only you and the source have. The source has relationships with other oversouls, of course, but their relationship is different. It represents a different geometry. It represents a different frequency of energy and information. So every source relationship's unique. Your signature frequency is not just your oversoul, it is also your unique oversoul's personal relationship with the source. Your signature frequency in this lifetime is a blending of three major things: the source frequency, your oversoul nature, and what you might describe as your personal blueprint for this incarnation. So, how the signature frequency expresses itself from one lifetime to the next may vary, because those earth-based themes or those incarnational themes may be slightly different from one incarnation to the next, to the next, to the next. So each version of you, each lifetime you experience, the signature frequency will have a slightly different expression. Nevertheless, the signature frequency will be made up largely of those three major components: your unique blueprint and design as an incarnated being, your passion, your joy, your life's work, your mission, all of that is a part of this. The second level is the oversoul. Third level is the oversoul relationship to the source. These three main components are responsible for the energy, the frequency that is described as the signature frequency.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
So perhaps we can take our last question of the
All
day.
right.
So, what do the statues on Easter Island represent?
It represents large scale forms of life. So remember that the Anunnaki beings that came to Earth were much physically larger than the current humans that you're all used to. These Anunnaki beings as you know, withdrew over time. They did not remain on the planet. However, many of these larger beings, these large scale Anunnaki beings, desired to keep a relationship with humanity going, and humanity wished to keep a relationship with them going. Yet, there was sort of an enforced withdrawal that needed to happen. And that was so humanity could evolve more independently, more sovereignly, more according to its own vision for itself. So, as a means of keeping that connection alive, these large heads, which actually contain bodies that are planted into the earth, were produced. These sculptures that are the Easter Island heads, as they're called, act as bridges to some of the original Anunnaki beings that came in ancient times and helped organize civilization. So think of them as icons of the Anunnaki that channel forth those original Anunnaki frequencies into your current times.
Thank you so much.
Of course, you are so welcome. We thank all of you for these questions. These are very powerful times. These are times of great change. We encourage all of you, be bold. Follow your joy, follow your passion, and remember that your signature frequency contains within it your highest timeline of passion, preference, and enjoyment. Meditate on those three things we mentioned here. Your unique blueprint as an incarnated being, your oversoul's multidimensional nature, and your oversoul's relationship to the source. Meditate on these three concepts, and you will find that the signature frequency flows in a visceral, tangible way that you will be able to feel, sense, and detect. And from there, inspired action will be natural. Empowered action will be natural. Devoted action will be natural. Our unconditional love and appreciation to each and every single one of you this year, this now. Ha'atu.
Too.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent, everybody. Thanks so much for joining in. Those were some really powerful questions. I feel pretty amazing from that channeling, so I trust the information came out clearly and in an enjoyable way. My friends, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for making these exciting events possible. And if you guys want more RYOKAH, if this is something you want to experience a greater level of in your life, then I invite you to join us for some of the upcoming events that we have this month. So I'll announce these in closing so you guys can mark your calendars. But on September 21st, that's going to be next weekend, we are going to be doing a realization of desires magical meditation. This is a group meditation. It's an energy ritual. We're going to be using the power of the angels, the powers of the tarot, specifically the Wheel of Fortune, to create greater abundance and prosperity in our life, and to actually upgrade our vibrational status. So our baseline frequency is just permanently at a higher level. So we're going to be moving everything up as we get into the magical ritual of the 21st. So we're thinking of uplifting finance, uplifting status, and also uplifting our responsibility, the role that we play in the world. And that's what's needed, that changing of responsibility and role, to unlock these higher worlds. The higher worlds need a higher identity in order to resonate with them. So these rituals help us to step into that higher identity. A lot of people will try to manifest stuff, but they're doing it from the viewpoint of the old self. It never works from that viewpoint because the old self, by definition, doesn't have the thing you want, right? It's the new self that has the new experiences that we're tapping into. So we'll be tapping into that and more with the Realization of Desires ritual on the 21st. And then if you join us on the 29th on Patreon, it's Monday the 29th, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be doing the Serpentine Ascension transmission. We're going to be getting into DNA activation, the power of the caduceus, the power of Mercury, and the power of the Nagas, the reptilian genetic masters who have engineered many species and who also possess a telepathic DNA link with many species. So if you are interested in the Serpentine Mysteries, we encourage you to join us for that event. It's going to be very powerful, and it's going to get you in touch with your tailbone, with those fundamental levels of your being. So if you're looking to go to the core and to get to the essence of things, this is a good transmission. The Nagas are said in the Vedas, the Vedic texts, to be close to the foundation. When someone sees a reptilian being, they're interacting with something that's very close to the scaffolding of reality. And this is why they're associated with DNA, because that's the scaffolding of us. So we have these two wonderful events, the 21st and the 29th. Mark your calendars. Thanks so much for staying with us to the very end and enjoying these communications and these announcements. Dear Starshine, thanks for being here with me. I've had a real blast today co-creating with you. This hour-plus conversation has felt like 10 minutes, which is how I know we're doing a great job in accessing these energies.
Yeah, it always does. We were just joking before we started how we just love talking to each other, right? So we could just talk for hours, I think.
Oh, certainly, certainly. It's true. It's true. And I think that if you do what you love for a living, then you have one of the most amazing jobs, occupation situations you could ask for. And I think myself and Starshine are very lucky. We both love communicating, we love talking. And not only do we get to talk about such cool stuff every Friday together, but we get to talk about that stuff with you guys. We get to see what's going on in your world. And I know for both of us, we're like occult knowledge and ET junkies or enthusiasts, whatever you want to call it. So this is playtime for both of us, and thank you for making this possible. We will see you guys next week. Some of you will be seeing Starshine probably in tomorrow or a few days. So for those that are at the Bashar event, have a glorious, glorious time. And I'm sending you guys my love, my appreciation, and I will see everyone on Friday for our upcoming live stream. Have a beautiful here and now, my friends. We will talk to y'all quite soon.